Have you ever felt like no matter how much you have, it is never quite enough? Like there is always something missing, something just out of reach, something you can't even name. Like you are supposed to feel grateful, but somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice keeps whispering that more would finally make you happy. There was a man who never heard that voice. Not because he was rich, not because life had been kind to him, but because he had found something most people spend their whole lives searching for, and he found it in the smallest, simplest place imaginable. His name was Hamza, and he lived at the edge of a village where the road turned to dirt and the trees grew close together like old friends. His house was small, just 4 walls, a wooden door, and a window that caught the morning light in a way that made everything inside look golden. Every day began the same way. He would wake before the birds, boil water on a small stove, and sit outside with his tea while the world slowly came alive around him. The steam would rise, the light would shift from grey to soft orange, and Hamza would just sit, not waiting for anything, not wishing for anything, just there, breathing it all in. He had a small garden, nothing grand, just tomatoes and herbs, and one old lemon tree that leaned slightly to the left, as if it were listening to something. He tended it every morning with the same quiet care, not because someone was watching, but because it was his, and he loved it. The neighbors knew him as the man who always had enough to share. If someone passed hungry, Hamza would bring out bread. If a child stopped near his garden, he would pick something fresh and place it gently in their hands. He didn't give to be remembered. He gave because giving felt like breathing, natural, easy, necessary. Then one spring, a traveler came through the village. He was loud and well-dressed and full of stories about the city, about tall buildings and busy markets and people who had so much that they had stopped counting. He stayed 3 days, and in those 3 days, something shifted inside Hamza. He began to look at his small house differently. He began to see the cracked wall, the worn floor, the leaning lemon tree, not with love anymore, but with a kind of embarrassment. He sold his vegetables for weeks and bought new things. He built a larger room. He planted more, worked harder, slept less. But the mornings changed. He stopped sitting with his tea. He stopped noticing the light. The birds still came, but he was always too busy to hear them. And slowly, without realizing it, the peace he had carried for years began to slip away, quiet as smoke, gone before he noticed it leaving. One evening, after a long and hollow day, Hamza sat outside. It was the first time in months he had just sat. The sun was setting. His garden looked different somehow. Not bigger or better, just unfamiliar. Like he had been away on a long trip and come back to find everything rearranged. A small bird landed on the lemon tree. It tilted its head, and something cracked open inside Hamza, not with pain, but with recognition. He had been so busy reaching for more, that he had walked away from enough. He had left his own life, without packing a single bag. The next morning, he woke before the birds again. He boiled water. He sat outside with his tea. The steam rose, the light shifted, and it felt, for the first time in a long time, like coming home. He didn't have more than before, but somehow he had everything again. Happiness, it turns out, was never hiding in the next thing. It was sitting quietly in the one you already had, waiting to be noticed. So maybe today, before you reach for more, just pause. Look around at what is already here, and ask yourself softly, what if enough has been enough all along?